If you stop, listen, you can hear it, and it is old. Older than time, steeped in deep time, in which we humans have been alive for such a small fraction, and yet we have done so much that is harmful in that brief time. I find it hard, with all that is happening in the world today, to find the words of courage and hope. I'll not list the things that fill the despair, from fire to flood to war and plague. It's all in the news 24 hours a day. It is the hardest thing these days to hold on to hope, but it must be done. Those who have profited most from the exploitation of the earth are those who will continue to profit from our despair. There is no time now to give credence to those who say it's too late, we are doomed. What difference can I make? To do so is to continue to fail. If we are to make a change, we need to listen, not simply only to the voices of humans, but to all life. The world is rich with many languages, only a few of which are human. We need to open our ears, open our minds, listen and learn, give rights to river, mountain, forest, fight for their protection with every talent you have, in whatever way you know best. We need to listen to our children, who understand that the value of creatures, habitat cannot be measured in gold, that true economics is health, happiness. Open our minds to the rights of life, all life.
I think pilgrimages are very important. I think it's very good to do anything to honour the land, and anything that you do creates energy, and it's the intention. It's really it's good for the planet.
By background, I'm a trained organic farmer, and I'm an agricultural engineer, and I worked with farming communities around the world for 20 years. It's such a critical moment right now. All the eyes are on the UK. During the 2-week climate summit, what we do, what the British public will do in Glasgow will be seen everywhere. We wanted to bring the messages from the people that were here, bring them up to Glasgow. We chose to do a pilgrimage because a vast amount of the emissions that cause climate change are caused by our lifestyles, by us flying about, driving about, moving about in the volumes that we do, and all the stuff that we consume that gets shipped around. And the pilgrimage is the exact opposite. A pilgrimage calls you to slow down and connect with nature. And by walking together in community and walking every day, being out in the elements every day, is it irony or prophecy that a group of Westerners is now walking into Glasgow, the city where, from what I heard, the steam engine was invented and which has given birth to some of the biggest economies in the world that have shaped the economic system that we live with now, that we call capitalism. And now we're walking back, humble and broken from walking for weeks and weeks on end, asking for a turnaround, asking for nature to be considered, to have a seat at the table.
Because I met my friend Anna, who's a climate policy advisor, and she's, right in there at COP. She's basically one of the delegates, and she was like, it would be amazing to walk to COP. The land is part of the performance, or is part of the artwork, and it's kind of an active participant in the piece. And so I thought that would be a great thing to do, to create performance to take to COP. So we managed to get in. I just want to be in and amongst Mother Nature as much as I possibly can be. She's the mistress that just keeps on giving. And I feel like that's a big part of what we're doing, and what Walking with the Land is about. Is, I think, the climate movement has been a lot of, like you have the carrot and the stick. It's been a lot of stick, where you beat yourself up about how bad it is, and it can feel like fear, and got to do the recycling. It's very stick heavy, whereas the carrot is the absolute full-on love affair that you can have with nature. And once you engage with that love, it just doesn't stop unfolding. Like, you can never know everything about nature. It will just keep telling you more and more. Like, the more you're interested, the more secrets are revealed. And the more connected you feel and the happier you feel, it just brings you so much joy. And I think so much of the sadness in the world is because we've disconnected. And it's wonderful to, to get the opportunity to walk together and walk this land. And it is an act of contemplation. It's not like a hike. Pilgrimage is a sacred act. It's meditative, and you're listening and you're connecting. We are listening, and we're going to listen to people and listen to the land and take what we hear in those voices and share that at COP26.
Fascinating to see this vibe, and I'm so grateful for the energy that you all bring to this, and I'm just like, I've been in tears already so many times on Zoom calls, and just knowing what's happening and that you're resonating this and that you're doing this with us is just, I would say the highlight of my career so far. And so thank you.
The sacred knowledge, that sacred, maybe secret knowledge that is within all of us and all around us. We are the spirit of the earth. We are alive and walking. Where we are is beautiful, it's beautiful. Come on, pilgrims! We are walking.
So my name's Howard, and I'm walking, many reasons, through the climate side to it is very important, and just raising awareness of that. And I think I've started to realise even more how necessary really deep systemic fundamental change is.
I think there's something about that rhythmical movement that I'm hoping will just kind of allow me to find some kind of flow. And
as a movement artist and interested in the body in motion as an agent for change and the body in motion, to listen and to experience and to hold, but not to hang on to, but to share with others.
I'm an artist, and so art is the only way I know in my life to sort of express the things that really matter to me. And I think that the walk sets an intention that the performance will kind of complete, and so we leave something behind that will exist outside of us and last longer than the walk itself.
I'm Gabriella, I'm from Sweden. To me, this whole idea of combining the spirituality, the physicality of walking, the connection to nature, and giving a performance. Who can ask for more?
I've been realising how much time it takes for us to slow down, or for me to slow down. That it's a big thing, I think, to really connect with the land and listen to the land. The thing we said we're doing is one of those things that I'm humbled, I suppose.
A pilgrimage that follows those earth energy lines, and so it's kind of like reawakening the spirituality and the resonance with nature that we had in the past, but then proclaiming something for the moment as well is very important to me.
In the river, we've lost a lot of that diversity. We have floods in my area, the river. In 2015 we had Flood Desmond, as I'm a farmer, and the health of the soil is something that's key to me. And I see lots of very sad bits of soil, and I think the future for our climate action lies largely in how we look after the soil, how we look after all the little soil organisms, the bacteria, the fungi, the nematodes in the soil. And once we get to the point where that's all alive and we have a living soils again, then I think nature will smile again. And when nature's smiling, then I think we have a long future for us and our children and our grandchildren.
We were passing through Lancashire We kept on encountering people who were involved in flood prevention, and we also had a week-long patch of heavy rain, and all the rivers were swollen and raging, and you could really feel the power of nature and the necessity to start preparing. It's individuals who have inspired a community to set about preparing.
Everyone's been curious about us, do have things to say, and they do care, and they are trying to do things in communities.
I ask them what they would like us to say, what do they think is important, and nearly always the people who I ask, what would you like me to say if you had a chance to say something to these leaders, world leaders at COP, what would you say? Nearly always they've got a really clear, passionate answer that's just ready to go.
Well, absolutely. We must do something about it. It's got to be done. We can't dither around any longer. That's a simple message, but that's what it is, isn't it?
There's so much that gets out of control that we don't manage to do that well, like our litter, our recycling, or our this or our that, or our clearing up, or our this or that. And it's made me realise, well, that's just what it's like in our communities as a whole.
Yeah, I started in London, and it's what I find is it's just incredible and a privilege just to be able to walk the land, my country. I haven't spent a lot of time here, so I really appreciate the beauty of my sort of ancestral lands. It's amazing. I think it's so important that we understand what our country looks like and the different landscapes. And I feel like I'm falling in love with my country, and it really is such an amazing journey to experience all the different landscapes, and like a place like Longmeg here with the rocks and the history, and I just didn't know any of it. I feel like I've just learned a history lesson all the way through, and I think being able to walk like this really helps you understand the resources that we have and how we really need to look after our planet. All these beautiful trees and the greenery and the shrubs and the berries. I mean, I've been full of berries, eating on the way, hawthorns and blackberries and everything that there is to offer. You can fill up, you can really forage mushrooms and cook yourself a meal. And we just don't really have that. I know that I had lost that connection with being here, so it's so nice to sort of reconnect in that way. And I just sort of would recommend everybody, if they have a chance, just to walk as much as possible, because it's just that's how we can understand, where we come from and what we can do to do things right, to sort of make amends again. So yeah.
It's all been a bit of a dream, really. It's been quite dreamlike, and a sense of time slips at some point in that. So we're just short of Carlisle. We get to Carlisle tomorrow. We've got 2 more weeks. And yeah, I've so much experience and so many beautiful things and incredible people we've met, and it's been great to gel together as a group. That's been incredible.
Awake, awake, sweet Scotland, sweet Scotland, now awake unto the land obediently. Let us all partake.
So we're going to share with you. We invite you to join in if ever you feel called. This is a space for all of us. This is about us listening and connecting with you in your spaces. And we love
Fields of gold.
What sayest thou? So huzzah for the night and the rain and the earth, and huzzah for the day! Huzzah!
If we shift here, and I firmly believe that if we shift here in Europe, where we have started an economy and a lifestyle and exported it to elsewhere that is not working. It's too big for one person, and it's not one action, but it is all these little steps, and it's being seen. And bringing that into Glasgow and showing we know this and we're moving, and let's do this together. It's not our fault what happened in the past, but let's nurture and what feeds us, and let's repair what feeds us here and now. And our little actions, they have big impact elsewhere. I'd like to share with you a conversation I had with an Aboriginal elder. I was sharing your stories of walking, and she's from an elder from Australia living in New Zealand, and she was saying, well, we all walk the same body of land.
I, Auntie Ivy, travelled across the waters from my homelands, Aotearoa, New Zealand, which represent the feet that anchor Mother Earth's body. I landed in Europe, which represents Mother Earth's head. This head was stolen a long time ago, which disconnected her from the rest of her body. It brought disharmony throughout the lands and the people, which is why I'm here in Europe to work with other like-minded human beings to reclaim the head and reconnect it back onto Mother Earth's body. This will restore the original wisdom and knowledge our ancestors left us. It will action peace back to the people and harmony back through Mother Earth's body. It is time to stand together to respect our homelands and safeguard and protect it today and for all future generations to come. It's time. It's time.